this is what we're painting. And it's just a fun little painting, and it has a little heart in the clouds. Somebody had posted on Facebook a picture. This actually happened in Huntington Beach last week. They were looking up at the sky and they saw clouds, and I thought, that's a cute idea for a picture for Valentine's Day. So that's what we're going to do. So we just need to put a piece of tape across where the sky's going to end. So just put it a little bit above halfway. You don't want it to be right on the halfway mark. So just put it there, and this part will be the sky. So we'll start with some blue. You can just pretty much use just a little bit of white with it, because you don't, and just start up here at the top. So you want to get it a little bit lighter toward the bottom, and then also take your brush and just barely tip it in red like this, and do a little bit of red down here on the bottom and blend it in so you have kind of a purple color along the horizon. Just a little bit. Like the sun has just gone down behind the horizon, but it's not dark yet. Once you got your sky on there, we're just going to start adding in clouds, even though it's wet. And start over here on this side, on the right-hand side, and just make some kind of fluffy clouds, which is, you just do circular motion with your brush. And we're just going to do just a few of those circular clouds, or big fluffy clouds. Mostly they're going to be kind of wispy. And these are going to be partly hidden by the palm tree, so won't matter too much, but we do need to have them back there. And then you're going to start doing these kind of clouds where it's just going to put the white paint on, and it's going to be like this up. You just want to make them go up like that so that they look a little swirly. That way we can get the heart in. So just go up and let your brush kind of dry. We're going to come back in later and fix this, or adjust this. But in the meantime, you want to kind of sketch in a little heart right in here, just like this. And make it a little bit wonky. It's not a perfect heart, because clouds wouldn't make a perfect heart. So you can make it kind of like that, just so we know where it's going to be. And we're just gonna, this is kind of basic. We're gonna come back in and dry brush the clouds in a few minutes after this dries. So you're gonna have this like this. You want some nice blue sky showing through behind the heart. So then you're going to take the tape off, and we're going to work on the ocean while the sky dries. Don't worry if your ocean is a little, see my tape, the paint went underneath, I don't know why, so it made it a little bit wobbly in there. Okay, so we're going to take blue and mix it with a tiny bit of red to make kind of a darker blue color. Just want to mix enough so that you get a darker blue color. So take some red and just put it in here like this, so you end up getting kind of a darker purpley color. And we're going to use that to paint along the edge of our horizon. Now at this point, since the paint's still wet here, we really can't. If your paint's dry, you can put tape there, but we can't, I can't, because it's still too wet. So I'm going to take a piece of paper, and I'm just going to lay it on here. The bottom part is pretty dry, so I can do this. And I'm just gonna get my, just by painting over the edge of the paper, I can get a straight edge too. But don't hold it down on any wet paint or you just want to get this in there. Doesn't have to be neat except the top part. So I'm just gonna go like this there. That's not too bad. Actually, I forgot. What I did was I put the sand in first, so maybe we should use up whatever paint you have on your brush and let's mix up some sand color because we need to do the sand first. So you want yellow, red, and blue to get a kind of a brown color. Now what we're going for here is kind of a golden brown color, so you want a little more yellow in it till you get this kind of a color, and then you're going to add a lot of white because the sand is going to be a real light brown color. Okay, did I make sense? And the sand is going to come down this way. We'll make, and just streak it on there. Don't worry if it has a little bit of light and dark in it, that's fine. Because it's just... Depends on what beach you're at, what color the sand is. But tropical beaches usually have whiter sand, so I'm going to add a little bit of yellow in here just to get a more golden tone to it. Maybe even a tiny bit of red. So what we're going to do is go back up to the clouds and we're going to fill in the clouds a little more. So this is a technique called dry brushing. So it means you get paint on your brush, but then you wipe most of it off. And then you start and you go like this, and you can lift your brush up at the end and it gives you little like fading out areas. So these clouds are kind of all over the place. You can have them being wispy, and even these will come down like this and go. And you want them to kind of fade out at the end, so it looks like the wind is blowing them a little bit. You don't want to fill in the whole sky. I mean the entire sky. You want to see blue through them. So you have some of these along in here that are a little thicker. Like I said, they're going to be behind the thing anyway. And then over here by your heart, you're going to want to do this. So make sure you take paint. I left too much paint on my brush at that point. Egg. Forgot I was dry brushing. Gonna have to fix that. So you just want to have this real light brush effect going on here. So make sure you wipe your brush off so you don't get too much paint, and then you're just going to go like this. Just kind of skim your brush along there. I kind of swirled it in here a little bit. So you just want to make it kind of go like that. Have your brush, your cloud motion. You can even do another kind of a circular one over here too, so you can see how the cloud motion is going. And kind of layer your clouds on top of each other. They're those real sheer ones that you can see through a little bit. So that's the kind we want. And you can also take a tiny bit of pink, which is, you know, white and red, and just put a tiny bit of pink along the clouds too, so that they're picking up a little bit of the sunset. Just along, kind of along the bottom edges, And just keep working on it with your real light, transparent strokes as you fill the sky in with the clouds, so that it will look really good. It's also, you can use some dark blue, or not dark blue, some real pale blue to shade some of the clouds too, because don't want to make it look like I just drew a heart up there. I want it to look like it's the actual clouds. So just keep the extra paint off your brush at this point. Just use a really, really dry brush. And just lift up on the edge of your strokes. You can see how I'm trying to vary my brightness so my clouds don't all look exactly the same thickness and everything. Okay, so we're going to go back down and finish our ocean now. Darker out here where it's deep. Out where I don't like to go. In the deep water. You'd never know I grew up in Hawaii, because I don't like to swim in deep ocean water. I just want to be close to the shore. Thank you very much. One of my nightmares is like being, you know, like a plane that crashes and you're out there floating in the deep ocean. That would I said, just kill me now. I cannot imagine. You know how some of those people, like pilots in World War II and stuff, spent 40 days on a raft out there in the middle of the ocean? I don't know if I could do that. Of course, you never know till it happens to you, I guess, but it doesn't sound like fun to me. And you can streak in a little bit of white here and there to kind of make, you know, the light reflecting off of the ocean. And then as you come down toward the middle part here, you want to get a lighter blue. And just keep blending it back and forth, blending your colors. And then what I want you to do is mix up a little bit of turquoise. So the way you do that is you take some blue and a little bit of yellow. So you want to get it a little bit green. Just a little bit green. Get a little more. and then you add some white to it. And you end up getting a more turquoise color. So then you're going to start doing that along in here. And just blend it in too. Because the water, as the water gets shallower, it gets lighter and more clear. So you can blend in regular blue, a light blue, and then blend in some more of the turquoise. And bring it all the way up to the sand. And in fact, you can even very lightly, like dry brushing, like we did the clouds, you can dry brush some turquoise up over the sand so that, you know how when a wave comes in and you can see the sand underneath it? That's what we're trying to get here. So you can see the sand a little bit. So that when you go over the color, you can still see the sand underneath a little bit. Just follow the shoreline because the waves will kind of be coming along this way. Bring it over, just dry brush it on top of the brown. Doesn't matter if the brown shows through, we want it to show through a little bit. So now what you do is take your brush and dip it, one corner of it, in the white, and come along the shoreline here. So it's right where the water is coming up on the shore. You're going to go like this, and you're going to bring the water along, or the white foam along here. So just follow your water line. It's okay for it to be wobbly. It's actually better if it's wobbly. And if you just do it on the corner, then the rest of the color is just still the turquoise color, and it's blending in. See, we want to have a little ridge of foam here where the water's coming up onto the beach. And if you get some little different colors going along in there, that's good, because that makes it look like the sand is peeking through. And then you can go out here a little bit further and you can make another wave. Doesn't follow exactly along like this one. And in fact, I would turn my brush sideways. Still use a corner, but turn your brush sideways. So that you got another wave coming. Just blend it in with you just want to have a white edge basically. Make it go part way across like this. Just keep blending it in. And it'll come along this way. You can make your waves any way you want. I'm going to hold the picture up for a minute that I did so you can see how I did them, and then you can just kind of create your own waves. But so see how I did them here? They just kind of go like this, kind of randomly, and then you can make another one out there and make another one kind of along where the water gets darker, and then just do little white lines with your brush. I would switch to my medium brush at this point. Use your medium flat brush, but still only put a corner of it in the white paint. So at this point I'm going like this with the corner. And that'll give you a little bit of a sharper edge, and then just blend it up, dry brush it up into the one above. Sometimes my light in here gets so weird, it's hard for me to see what the paint's doing because acrylic paints tend to reflect the light. So it's hard to see exactly how the color's going on. Well, that didn't work. So you can make it as streaky as you want. There's lots of streaks out there. Lots of waves. So we'll take a few more minutes to do that, and then we'll work on our palm trees and our flowers. We're doing pretty well considering we got started late. So you can just kind of zigzag your brush like this. Just get it, lay it flat, and put white paint on it, and then you're just going along like this, creating another wave. Can you see how I'm doing that? You're just going to go kind of sideways like this, because you want the foam to be at the very edge. Mostly we're worrying about the, the middle part and this part over here, because the rest of it's going to be kind of covered up with the palm trees and stuff. And you can go down in here and you can make a little more foam if you want, but you can also make some little trails here where the foam is just sitting on top of the water. So you just go like this, make a little trail there, another little one there. Just do some of that. Now a lot of this you can even come back in later after it's dry and add some more detail to it. The thing about acrylics is you can just keep going over, on and on and on, adding as many layers as you want. And the other layers that are underneath will show through a little bit, but that's what gives the picture a lot of interest. And then just very lightly with kind of a dry brush, just skim little lines out here so that it looks like there's some ripples and some light on the water. Okay, so now we're going to do the palm trees, and you need to add some black paint to your plate. Not much, just a little. And we're going to sketch them in. I'm still going to use this medium brush here. So basically you want to have one trunk starting about right here. It's going to have a little bit of a bump on it, and then it's going to go curve up. You can make it a little bit thicker than that. Once you get your line, And then we're not going to paint the other one in yet. We're going to do this one first because I did that. I made a mistake when I did that yesterday. I couldn't tell which tree was behind and which one was in front. So use your brush flat, and we're going to just put the branches on it. And you just go up, do about 7 or 8 of them. Make them curve. Just bring them from the top. You need to come down. Doesn't need to be perfect, just the general idea. And one going over this way and one going up there. I think that'll do for that one. And then what we're going to do is, you don't even need to wipe or wash your brush off. We're going to get a dark green going here. So you can leave the black in your brush that's there and scoop up some blue. And then scoop up some yellow. You should get kind of a medium green color. Oh, I'm not showing you. There you go. And with that, we're going to start putting the detail on. So first thing you're going to do is take your brush and go over the branch outline with the green. And the best you can, doesn't have to be super neat. You're just covering up the black. Okay. And then you're going to start adding the leaves, or I don't know what they're called on a palm tree. Anyway, so you're going to start, and you want to kind of go with the flow of the branch. So you've got these straight little leaves like this, and they just kind of follow the way the branch flows. So you're just going to put them in like this. You can have them overlapping each other, that's fine. Come down, and then on the top side they'll be lying down a little bit flatter, kind of this way, like this, because that's the way the branch is going. So can you see what I'm doing? You're just taking your brush and you're just stroking these leaves on. They don't have to be perfect. They can crisscross each other a little bit. And they're just gonna do this. We're going to come back in a minute and hit them with a different green, but we're just doing the background. Now this one is sticking almost straight up, so his leaves are going to be just kind of out. Now I want you to take some yellow and add it a little bit to this to make it a little brighter. You can add a little more blue too. We'll get rid of some of the blackness of this. Get a more yellow. And we're just going to go in and just kind of put some in on top. Don't have to be, they can be right on top of them, they can be next to them. Just like that to give it a little more color. Some more dimension. You can do them a little bit faster because you're just filling in. That one's done, and what you need to do is mix up a tiny bit of brownish color. So you can just take your brush with the green on it, add a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red, and we're gonna highlight the tree trunk just a tiny bit. Make another tree trunk, and we're gonna do exactly the same thing that we did with the other one, but this one is in front, so it's gonna go on top of your other branches. So a branch there, there, there. Do the branches the exact same way we just did them. But these are going to be in front. They might not be exactly the same color. That's okay too. That'll help them stand out a little more. Okay. So we're going to you can take just some straight blue and yellow if you want and get a totally different kind of a green and add it, add it to the palm trees if you want, just here and there, you know, just put in a different, slightly different shade of green, and that'll help bring them out a little more. So you can see what I'm doing here is I'm fixing this tree. I'm going to have him actually come down a little more. I don't like the way the trunk came out, so I'm going to make him go like this. There. That's going to be better. Okay. The next thing we're going to paint, and we're going to paint it white first because we have to cover up some sand and stuff. So we're going to paint our little beach ball over here. So just paint a round circle, however big you want your beach ball to be. And we're going to let him dry because we have to come back and add the red to him. So just draw your little beach ball. Make him a little bit bigger. And we'll let him dry. So now you need to mix up some more green. We're going to do our little bush and our foliage that's in front here. And use your, use your medium brush. And we're going to do kind of like we did with the dry brush effect, only it's going to be a little bit darker. So take some green. So let's make some green using blue and yellow. This time we're going to make a brighter green. Not quite as olive as with the black. Okay, there we go. That's a pretty good green. And you're just going to start down here at the bottom, and you're going to just brush it up like that. So we just want to get a line in here, a background. So lift your brush up as you come up toward the top. And we're going to have a little hill here in front of it, so just bring it down about like this. Don't worry about it. We'll paint the hill right in on top of it. And we're going to have the sand come off, or the branches come off this way. So just lift your brush up, and as you do, you'll get little blades of grass, kind of grassy stuff coming up. Yeah, they can go every which way. And we're going to put a little bush type thing over here. So we're going to give it a branch and a little trunk going up. I'm going to add a little bit of black to it so it's darker. A branch with a little bit, and then another branch coming off this way. You can make your branches however you want, but we're going to put branches for the flowers to be on. So just kind of put them in here. And then you can use your lighter green and you can go in here and just tap in what look like leaves, just with the corner of your brush, just a little bit of leaves on here. Just on the bush. And then we're going to let that dry a little bit, because if we try and put the red flowers on top of this, it's going to blend. Now if you have a dryer, you can use it, but if you don't, it's okay. We'll just put these little branches in here, and then I'm going to put some more grass in front of the bush so it doesn't look like the bush is just sitting there. So blend some different shades of green. You can add a little bit of, believe it or not, a little bit of red to a green, and it will just turn it into a slightly darker shade, kind of a brownish green kind of color. So you can put that in there too, like this. Just brush them in. Keep going until you're happy with the way your grass looks. I just keep adding different colors to it. We're getting there, ladies. I'm just fixing my trees while I give you a chance to catch up. Okay, that's better. Excuse me. That's my leftover COVID cough. It seems to take a little while to go away. Okay, where are ya?
It's a ketchup.
Like I said, remember, if you don't get it done tonight, you can always finish it tomorrow. Lots of people would do that for my art classes when I was teaching the big classes, as they would take it home and finish it and then let me see it. Okay, so now I'm going to put the rest of the color on the ball, just because I need to get that done so you can see that, and then the flowers should be ready to be painted. And you know how to do the flowers because we've done those before. They're just the basic 5-petal flower. So what I want to do is make the ball red on the outside like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a flower. They don't have to be perfect. They can be all different shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. 1, 2, 3. Boy, this brush is bad too. 4, 5. 1, 2. That's better. 3, 4, 5. So make your flowers kind of use a lot of paint on them, because you don't want to have to go back over them again. So use enough paint that the branches and stuff don't show through much. And you can do flowers on top of each other a little bit. You just want to do the dry brushing again like we were doing before. We're just doing this. Just getting some grass in there. All different shades of green that you have. Add a little bit of yellow, add a little bit of blue, whatever you want to get different shades. And we're going to have it come down a little bit here. And we're even going to put a little bit of grass in front of the ball, so it looks like whoops, I tipped it right in the blue. So that it looks like the ball got lost in the grass. That's what we want. So the ball's kind of nestled in the grass a little bit. And put just a little bit in front of it. That, and that way you don't have to worry about your ball being perfectly round either. There is a method to my madness. Okay, so just put in grass, and then one last time you have to mix up some brown, and you want for sand, and you want it to be a little bit lighter than the sand that you have there. So because we're going to put a little hill in the front. So you're going to use, see if I can find a clean spot on my plate. You're going to use yellow, red, blue. You get kind of a brownish color. We want to add a little more yellow to that. That looks a little green, so let's give it a little more red. Okay, that looks like a decent brown color, and we're going to just add a ton of white to it. We want it to be light. Tiny bit of yellow so we get that golden color. And then your sandbank is just going to run along the bottom like this. Covers up the bottom of your grass, so it looks like there's a sand dune there in front of the grass. And just bring it along here, and the ball is a little bit behind it too, like that. You can make it whatever shape you want to, but you're going to cover all that up like that. So the only finishing touch we have to do after this is I'm going to change this color a little bit. Put a yellow center in the middle of the flowers. And then, of course, you can, go in and highlight and fix you can add stuff to your clouds. I would add a little, if I were going to do it right now, which I'm not, but maybe in the morning when I finish the video, I'll add a little more white touches up here in the clouds and a little more green variation down here so that there's a little more interest in the colors. And I may even highlight the trees a little more, but I'll do that in the morning. And we won't worry about it for now. And then the only other thing you have to do is just take your brush and dip it in yellow and just put yellow in the center of each flower like that.